Hello, everyone. My name is Berit Anderson, and I'm here today with Mark Anderson, who is the head of Strategic News Service. We are talking today about his predictions for 2022. So, Mark, you've told me that it's been harder this year to make predictions than in past years. Why is that?
It's because nothing's going to happen next year, Berit. It's just a blank slate. Nothing at all will be happening. It's kind of a mystery for me. No, that's not the right answer. It's because the nature of things have changed. When you're in the predictions business, which we are, you try to look forward. I can give you a pretty good example. If you go back to a decade or more ago, you could have looked at chip designs and said, based on this, I can tell you about smartphones, or I can tell you about 5G, or I can tell you about usage at home. That stuff is still true, but it's slowed down. And what has taken its place, I would say, in terms almost of innovation, not in every sector, not in healthcare, but in general, PCs and so forth, pretty boring. And what's taken its place is an economic contest or even a war between China and the West. And if you don't understand China, you can't do this. You just can't be in the game. You have to understand China in every call you make almost, because they have such a large presence. And that presence is driven by a single person, which is amazing. So now what are you doing as a predictor? Instead of saying that Intel is coming out with this chip and NVIDIA is coming out with that chip, it's still true. But what may matter more is that Asia or China is going to spend X amount on chips in general, and you'll spend less. And that may be the predictor right there, the leading indicator. So we have a world which is today driven by other things, much more human related than just purely technology, more than just computing and communications. So it's kind of a different world we live in. It's very much different.
And so based on what you know about Xi Jinping and his decision-making process, what do you expect? How do you expect that to change in the year ahead?
Yeah, so this is where things got really interesting. And I know you know this, but maybe those watching don't. We were backed into the business of understanding China better than anybody else, which I think we executed on really well. But that's why. So here we are. And we have a pretty deep understanding, I think, of his patterns of behavior and his patterns of decision-making, what drives him most. And a lot of folks don't quite get that yet. They're still in the live and let live kind of mode, and he is definitely not in that mode. So I'll give you an example. Now, this won't come up in this year's predictions, but I got a call yesterday from someone in DC saying, what about cryptocurrency around the world? And I said, well, watch China. You saw what they did. And it was very mysterious. First, they were like the biggest guys in crypto mining, and they were worldwide by far. And then suddenly it's like it's illegal in China to have crypto. Oh, that's interesting. And then suddenly it's illegal to mine in China. Well, that's fascinating. What's Xi thinking? And then suddenly they're going to have their own national model. All their currency is going to be, real-time smartphone based. Forget credit cards, and it's going to be a cryptocurrency. It'll be electronic currency. Wow, because he's been trying to force their way into the international standards bodies, including currencies, for a long time without much success. Here we go. And now he can take a cryptocurrency called China Inc., whatever he wants to call it, and have all the BRI, the Belt and Road nations that are beholden to him for loans, be forced, just like he would force them to use renminbi, he can force them to use e-renminbi. And get ready for a big food fight, right, of that type. I haven't heard people talking about that yet, but that's a prediction that one could make, and it would be a pretty good prediction.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark. I think we'll talk to you again next week. And if you're interested in attending our 2022 predictions event, just follow the links below.
Thank you, Brett.